All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are celebrating the centennial year for Georgia Department of Transportation, and we've got the District Communications Officer with him, ourselves, Mr. Kyle Collins. How are you?
How's it going? Doing great.
Good to see you.
Yeah, we're just glad to have y'all here. We're in our maintenance war room, one of the areas we get a lot of stuff done here at DOT, especially emergency response, and also a lot of our main staff meetings. And this is our Tennell district office. Altogether, our district employs almost 500 employees, and this is really the home base for what we do here in East Central Georgia.
Wow, and you know, it's so impressive, Kyle, about the things that you all do, and the people out there, some don't even know the half of it, of what you all do. So we want to talk a little bit about you personally, share with us something about yourself, and then we're going to segue into what you do here as a communications officer, if you would.
Right, okay. Well, a little bit about myself. Again, Kyle Collins. I grew up in Milledgeville, about 30 or 40-minute drive from here on Stemridge Road. Went to school there locally, actually graduated from Georgia College and State University.
Go Bobcats.
In common as well. Actually worked for a newspaper, a small daily newspaper, the Union Recorder, for several years full-time. Got some experience there and ended up getting a job with DOT in January of 2015. And essentially what I do is I'm kind of that public relations and communications arm for the department to break down projects, maybe answer some citizen inquiries, and really bridge that gap between what we're trying to execute on the road or on the bridge, and really make the public understand the need and why we're doing these projects.
And how has your experience been? I'm sure you probably hit the ground running because this is such a huge organization, and when you're talking about communication, that does entail so many different things. You want to make sure you're getting the right information to the public.
Right, and that's kind of, I lean on my background from having a media background and a journalism background, but yes, I did have to hit the ground running. It was kind of intimidating. You know, I went from covering one, maybe two counties with a media outlet to now we're over 27 counties total. We got some big areas when you go to Covington and Augusta, and obviously our important rural communities in Washington and Lawrence County, those of that nature. But yeah, so just press releases, building our social media following, use a lot of Facebook and Twitter, really just trying to kind of dispel maybe some of the misnomers and some of the rumors that tend to circulate about, why is this project taking so long? Why are they standing around and they hadn't touched this bridge in 5 months, what's going on? They're being lazy. And 9 times out of 10, that's not the case, and really just trying to explain all that goes into these projects from start to finish, whether it's construction, maintenance, and also with outreach like this, with your TV station, there's a lot of moving parts that make us go that folks don't see.
Absolutely, and you're the guy for that. So we're glad to have you here and glad to be able to speak with you. So what about some of these projects, you know, because a lot of people don't know about all the projects that you have going on.
Right. Well, I guess just kind of in your coverage area, folks are aware of a lot of the work going on in Dublin. There's a new river bridge crossing on close to Country Club Road. I think it's Ben Hill Lake drive over there that would connect East Dublin to Dublin. It's a T-SPLOST project that's just going pretty well now. The bridge is about halfway done, so that's one that we're hoping to get open by early next year into next spring. Fall Line Freeway is also a big one in this area that folks have heard about. It's going well. We had the bridges done on the Baldwin and Wilkinson County leg, so probably by the end of this month, early next, folks will be able to have a new river crossing to get from Washington County and get over to Baldwin and get towards Gordon. So those are two of the bigger ones going on, and also a lot of the stuff that you would see is just a step up in maintenance projects that we're doing, not only with our own forces. I know we did some sealing to kind of preserve the roadway out on Highway 441, which is also State Route 31 earlier this summer. You're just going to see us out doing a lot more, and also contractors, whether it's chopping down some of these trees and overgrown vegetation that's kind of a safety hazard in the right-of-way, maybe patching, repaving some roads, bridge maintenance projects. It's really a special time in the history of DOT right now.
Absolutely is. And, you know, when you're looking at your history and so many things have changed through the years and you're talking about the whole centennial, you know, just looking at your website and just reading some of the things that have transpired and taken place through the years, it's been so significant. And, you know, in the area of communications, now that we're in the age of the computers, of the technology of social media where you have, you know, Instagram, Twitter. I mean, are those avenues that you're using as well?
Yes, I use social media, Facebook and Twitter, every single day to get the message out, to directly interact with our citizens, reach out to our media outlets. If there's an emergency situation, we have to close a route or do a detour. That's the best way to get to the public, because a lot of the public, that's where they're having their conversations. That's where they're getting their news. I know y'all are on Facebook as well, and devote a lot of time there. But I found it to be very helpful, and I've been able to grow the audience, because a lot of folks in this area are on Facebook. They love commenting. I post photos and videos of some repair work or a bridge project. You know, might be mostly positive, but even the negative comments, that's a way to engage and start a conversation, to let them know that we're people too. We're not just a state agency that, you know, is doing these projects with no regard for the public. We're here for the public. We work for them.
Absolutely. And those forms of communication, it really puts you closer to the big entity of, you know, GDOT.
Yes.
When you're able to communicate that way, and especially when this day and age, we've got younger adults who are very inquisitive about different things and just health and safety issues. Tell us about some of the outreach. You're talking about some outreach that you're doing.
A big campaign that we kicked off last year was our Drive Alert, Arrive Alive safety campaign. Due to the incredible and really scary increase in fatalities to start the first quarter of 2015, we had seen almost a 25% increase based on the same year to date from 2014. It was an initiative just to raise some awareness, really bring the statistics and some of the stuff we're seeing on the roadways that's causing some of these accidents. A lot of lack of seatbelt use, distracted driving, people on their cell phones.
Texting.
We actually ended up having our first statewide increase in fatalities last year since 2006, and unfortunately we're even trending ahead of that in 2016. So safety campaign outreach, and really just outreach about Centennial, kind of telling our 100-year story, and really just anything and everything, major mobility projects that we're doing in this area, and also up in some of our other districts in the Atlanta and, you know, down towards the port in Savannah, some of the work we're doing.
And, you know, when you're driving on the interstate, like going to Atlanta, you see the huge, where it actually tells you statistics. You know,
message boards.
The message boards, and that's a great way of communication. Great, because as you're driving, it actually kind of, when you throw statistics out there, it kind of hits you.
And they added those actually on I-16, and that's something we can pretty much put any kind of, it's a variable, you know, changeable message board. So if there's a hurricane and we're contraflowing, you know, doing one way to evacuate on I-16, that's a way to give folks direction. They can also view that on our 511 website. We encourage folks to download the 511 app, and we've also partnered with Waze, which is a social sharing app, so folks know what's coming up on the roadway. So we're doing what we can to really plug into those different channels of communication to not only make our operations better, but really make folks know before they go, because if we're doing all these construction projects, a lot of times if folks don't know when they leave in the morning to go to work that this bridge might be detoured or we're closing down one lane, you know, that extra 10 or 15 minutes can add to some frustration. But if you check 511, check your news outlets, check Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you know, we're trying to expand on Instagram as well. That's what kind of lessen some of that impact and really make you understand what's going on before you leave.
And I use 511. I mean, and it's so accurate, because like as I pass an exit, I'll dial the 511, and it tells me exactly what's going on.
It's perfect. You see the signs on the roadway. We encourage folks to call in, but I think a lot of people don't know that we actually have an app, smartphone app on, you know, Apple and Android devices. It's very useful. You can even kind of map out your trip if you're going across the state, and it'll give you a average time that you would go east to west, north to south, and it'll kind of show you where that construction and also where the accidents and traffic incidents may be.
So the people out there, you've got to become more technologically savvy in order to be able to use the apps, because some people don't, like older drivers, don't use those type means to find out about, you know, traffic. What did they do before this?
I don't know. I think I guess it's a gift and a curse that we are so connected. I think it's great to be able to use social media in one post. I can reach 50,000, 80,000, 100,000 people, you know, using our media partners like yourself and local communities and some of our bigger metro areas. With one tweet, one Facebook post, you can get to so many people, but we don't neglect our traditional mediums, our print, our radio, you know, our TV outlets, to make sure, because that's still where a lot of folks, and the majority of folks are still getting their information. So y'all are very important partners.
And that's a wonderful thing that you're thinking so broad that way, to be able to cover all of those different outlets. And how big is safety here? I mean, of course, you see workers all the time working on the highways. How big a part does safety play?
Well, safety is our number one priority in anything and everything that we do. And work zone safety is something. We have Work Zone Awareness Week towards the end of every spring, where we really try to raise awareness and let folks know the statistics of what's happening in our work zones, because we experience it every day, whether it's our contractors that we're working with to get something done, whether it's our maintenance folks fixing a shoulder, putting a sign up. It's really scary if you put yourself in that position to see a 18-wheeler, a car, a truck driving by at 60 or 70 miles an hour in a work zone, and you're oftentimes from me to you, bent down trying to fix something, and that car is going by with no regard for your life. So that's a big thing that we try to get out there and give folks that perspective on how important that is, because we want our folks to come home. You know, they have families too. They have daughters, sons, cousins, moms and dads, and 8 times out of 10, it's actually the driver and the passengers who are more often than not injured in these work zone accidents and incidents. So that's something that we want to get out there too, is not only our folks that we're trying to protect and our contractors, but it's also yourself. So definitely obey the signage and the traffic control. And that's probably one of the biggest eye-openers for me since I started working here, because I get a chance to get out on the roadways, whether it's I-20, 441, you know, coming to and from Dublin and Baldwin County. It's scary. Just put yourself in their shoes. So that's something we try to raise awareness about.
I'm going to give you an example of that. we were traveling from North Carolina, and I had to pull over to get something out of the car. And just standing by the road, bent over, 18-wheelers passing by, blew me over. And, you know, when you think about the workers out there, I mean, people, you have to make sure that you are being a safe driver and being very careful of the people who are working on our roads to just make sure that, because if you're a distracted driver, a lot of accidents happen from being a distracted driver.
Right, and that's a recipe for disaster. I give a perfect example. It's on the other end of our district. We're doing a lot of work in the Augusta area on Riverwatch Parkway. Folks may know that. It's exit 200 if you're heading out of the state. Before you get into South Carolina. A lot of massive traffic goes that way and gets off during the tournament. We have several ongoing projects. One of our project managers had mentioned that, distinctly seeing individuals on their phone, almost swerving and hitting cones.
Reading books.
Yeah, eating cereal, eating a sandwich. I think we've become too comfortable with the act of driving these days, and it's kind of an afterthought, and we forget that we're really driving a 2,000, 3,000-pound missile down the highway, and it can do a lot of damage.
Absolutely. And, you know, and I read online where you had a recent loss from someone in 2015.
One of our hero operators, emergency response in the metro Atlanta area. Y'all may have seen the yellow trucks. It's kind of like a hybrid ambulance and emergency response vehicle, and they're the first ones on the scene up there at all those busy interstates and major state highways to clear the scene, get the message board there, get traffic directed, and they're working they're seeing thousands of cars whiz by them all day, every day. So they're there to protect you, to get the scene out of the way as quickly as possible. So unfortunately, we did have another fatality, and that was sad to see, but that's a grim example of what can happen when folks aren't paying attention behind the wheel.
Absolutely. Well, Kyle, we certainly appreciate everything that you do. I mean, it's such a large gamut of things concerning the communication to make sure that the word gets out, not just to the public, but to the people that are within the organization, to make sure the right communication is getting out. So we appreciate everything that you're doing, young man.
Yes, thank y'all.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Kyle Collins.
Keith Graham here at Dublin Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, home of your lifetime warranty. Yes, lifetime warranty. That's what you get when you buy from us. We'd like to thank all of you for helping make 2016 a success for the first half. For the rest of you, we'd like to invite you by to see how you could qualify for up to $12,000 in rebates for this nice Ram truck, or how you, with your good credit, could get 84 months with 0% interest for 84 months. You may even qualify for $149 a month on a brand new Jeep Cherokee. We'd like to invite the rest of you by to see what your friends have seen already. The car business is changing because we're the ones changing it.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, it is the centennial year for the Georgia Department of Transportation, and we've been getting a tour of the building and getting to meet some of the wonderful employees. Like this beautiful lady here, we've got Miss Brenda Moment, who is the right-of-way Specialist 3. Very good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Now, Brenda, tell us about yourself, if you would.
Well, my name is Brenda Moment. I work here at the Georgia Department of Transportation. I've been here for 20 years. Before that, I am from Sandersville, Georgia, but before I came here, I had been traveling with my husband, who was in the military for 20 years.
Oh, wow. Thank you for your
So I
service.
spent that time with him, and now I'm here 20 more years.
20
here.
more years. And, how has of course, we were talking earlier, I was talking to some about the different roads, the different states we lived in, being a military family. And
Oh, you were too?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then coming here, I said, Georgia has the best roads ever.
They do. Yes, I've noticed that as when I was traveling over the years.
Isn't it amazing?
Yes, once we hit the Georgia line, everything was smooth.
Smooth.
Yes, we have the best. We have the best.
Absolutely.
I'm proud to be working for them because we do have the best.
And we're thankful for what you're doing here. Tell us how your experience has been these past 20 years. Have you always worked in this area, or have you changed throughout?
Well, when I first came, I worked at the shop. You all probably been to the shop. I don't know whether he took you over to the shop or not. Not yet.
Not yet.
Well, I worked there for 3 years, and I've been here in this area right away for 17 years.
17 years. A lot of the employees are talking about how you all are like a family. Do you feel that here?
We are. Yes, we are like a family. Right now, I'm going through some problems with my husband is sick, and everybody got together. It's just amazing and awesome how everybody gets together and help each other. We all do it whenever something's going on with someone. They help, and they have been a blessing to me.
And that is a blessing, because the thing is, not only are, this is your job, but this is a family. And when you have different tragedies or different incidents in your family where there is something where you need people's help and prayers,
Yes.
to have them there is really a blessing.
Yes, and I'm getting plenty of those.
And tell us about what your job entails.
Well, my job entails, I'm from the right-of-way department, and what we do, these ladies on this side and the ladies and the gentlemen on that side, what we do is we go out and we buy the right-of-way that the department needs to build highways. So we do the preliminary work, and once we do the preliminary work, what we do, we go out and we look at the property, we figure out what we need, we get a legal department, we get appraisers to help us with it, and we also get contractors, but we go out ourselves and we purchase the property that we need. It's a lot of different aspects that we go through.
And a lot of different partnerships, too, that you have to partner with others to help.
Yes, we do. Everybody helps. The whole department gets together, and we are probably almost at the end of what we need done so that we can acquire the property for the highways.
And what we're learning is, with all these different properties and everything that it entails that you all do, and we know that the people out there aren't always aware of what you all do. And so we're hoping that this show does show them a little bit more into what you all do and how important you are for our country.
Okay, and I hope so. Yeah, being aware of what we do will make them accept us more when we come out, because we go out and we go to property owners, and we're there to buy the property, and we don't want them to feel threatened or anything, because we work well with them, and we help them along the way, and we make it as easy as we can for them. This will help us very much.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Brenda Moment.
Hello, my name is Shannon Knight Brantley at Atlantic South Bank in Dublin, Georgia. I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our locations. We are located on Bellevue Avenue and 441 South here in Dublin, and we also have a location in Alamo, Georgia, right on Main Street. We are two names, one bank. Atlantic South Bank is a division of Wheeler County State Bank. We have many services to offer you. We have internet banking, telephone banking, checking and savings services, and also a variety of loan services. If we can assist you with any of these services, or if we can help you with your next mortgage loan, please stop by one of our locations. Atlantic South Bank, a division of Wheeler County State Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've just been having a wonderful time getting to meet the men and women here of the Georgia Department of Transportation. We've got a young civil engineer with us. We've got Mr. Brandon Nobles. How are you, Brandon?
I'm good. How about you?
Doing very well. Now, Brandon, tell us a little bit about yourself, okay? And then let's talk about what you do here at the Georgia Department of Transportation.
Okay. Well, I was born and raised in Cochran, Georgia, and I went to Georgia Southern University. It took me 4 years to get my civil engineering degree. And I actually graduated magna cum laude, which is a 3.7 through 3.89 GPA.
Nice.
And then I also got my EIT certification in April 2016.
Now, what does EIT mean?
It's an engineering training certification, and your next step 5 years later would be your PE, which is a professional engineer.
Very good. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Now, tell us about what you do here.
I'm more of a project management role. I work out of the Dublin area office. So I manage the projects on a daily basis. I do quantity takeoff to check and see project completion and see how they're progressing throughout the work. And then I also take care of contractor pay requests and things of that nature month to month. That's about it.
So, Brandon, you're fresh out of college, right? Now, so when you're in college and you're training to do just this, is it everything that you expected it to be?
So far it is.
That's awesome. That is so wonderful. Now, what has your experience been like as a civil engineer too?
It's been a great experience so far, and I look forward to learning more. I've only been here about 3 months to this date, but I've learned a lot from my mentors. I actually worked for a contractor for about a year, and I learned kind of that side of the business from them for about a year, and that was also part of my internship. Then whenever I came here, I actually have 2 really good mentors, John Collins and Maynard Edenfield. They're on my project as well, and I've enjoyed working with them. They've shown me a lot.
Showing you the ropes. Now, do you come from a family of engineers, or are you the one that's stepping out?
I'll be the first engineer in my family.
And you're from Cochran, Georgia, right down the street. And so, when we're talking to some of the other employees who've been here for a little while, they're talking about how things, just the different entities of things that are going on. And so with your specific area, how many people do you work closely with?
Well, I work closely on the project I'm on now. It's for State Route 15. We're in Tyndall and we're in Wrightsville. The 2 people I work with from DOT, one of them is John Collins, I mentioned him, and then Maynard Edenfield, he works for AMEC Foster Wheeler. And then I have my assistant area engineer, Bonnie Skaggs, and the area engineer, Daniel Smith. So we kind of just work together as far as the project's concerned.
And, you said you're close to, would you consider getting your PE? Is that something that you look forward to?
That's definitely what I look forward to. That's my main goal.
What kind of message do you want to give to other college students who are engineer majors like my nephew to kind of prepare them for the real world?
I would definitely push you to get your EIT. You get a bonus for working here, for getting your EIT, and then, 4 or 5 years, depending on your degree type, you can get your PE, and that sets you up for all kind of possibilities in life. So I would definitely push. That would be the main thing I would push, would be the EIT.
The EIT. Just talking to Kyle, he was telling us about you have about 2 or 3 PEs that are here, and you say that you have some mentors that you learn from. What things do you see yourself having to really work on to improve in your position?
Just the paperwork associated with the DOT.
It's like the devil, isn't it?
It is. Working for the contractor, you do estimate and you check project completion and you do all the things that the DOT does as well.
Right.
But you don't have to deal with as much paperwork. So the paperwork and all the forms, that's kind of been new to me. So that's really the ropes I'm trying to learn right now.
Paperwork. It's going to take a minute for that, won't it?
It is.
Now, we're talking about how important safety is here. Anything that you want to share on that level concerning safety in your position?
Well, we're out on the road, like I said, as a construction management type person, I'm out on the road, I'd say 60-70% of the time I'm actually on site, and definitely wear your PPE, which is your personal protective equipment. I would definitely recommend you wear that.
Like the vest, too.
The vest, the hard hat, or the hat. Yeah, I would definitely recommend wearing that, and always stay aware. Whenever you have cars going by you on a daily basis when you're on a job site, you always have to check your back, make sure there's nothing coming up behind you, or you're going to get sideswiped by a car or something like that.
Absolutely. So where do you see yourself? I know you just started about 3 months ago. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I'd love to be the area engineer.
So that's your goal.
That's my goal in 5 years.
Is that you with your PE?
Hope so.
How much more education do you need for that?
Well, it's more of an experience type role. For me, it'll be about 4 years of experience under another PE, so I believe that Mr. Jimmy would be able to sign off on that. So.
All right, so Mr. Jimmy, we're actually going to talk to Mr. Jimmy. I have to put a word in for you to sign off. But listen, we're just so proud of you for how you've transitioned here into with the Georgia Department of Transportation and the leadership role that you've taken on. How is it for you as a young man in the position that you are, you have people that are under you that are young, that are older.
Yes,
Pretty much everyone.
a lot of people.
And how do you still you know, how do you handle that?
Well, it's been a little bit of a challenge, especially on the contractor side of it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to tell the contractor, you know, hey, you may have done something wrong here. This is what I would recommend, how
Right.
you would fix it, or how you need to go about changing what you did wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And they sometimes they take it kind of lightly coming from a younger person,
Right.
but if that's the case, you just have to call in higher up people,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll help you out.
And they'll get it. They'll get it sooner or later, won't they?
Yes, they will.
Well, you're in a great position, one that does require quite a bit of maturity, as well as the wisdom and knowledge that you have for your position. And so we're just really proud of you, and we thank you for everything that you do here.
Thank you as well.
Any last words, sir?
I don't believe so.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Brandon. He's the Civil Engineer 2 here at the Georgia Department of Transportation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.